Tanzania, more Tanzanian enterprises to partner with US firms, but also more of Tanzanian companies to trade within the US market.
The chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in Tanzania, Geoffrey Mchangila, describes the agreement as part of a broader private sector commitment to support Tanzania's long-term economic transformation agenda, including the ambition to build a $1 trillion economy. He adds that increased U.S. investment would contribute to capital expansion, technology transfer, and improved industrial competitiveness.
We are very keen to work with you to see how, one, we can bring more American investment here in Tanzania, but also for the existing company, how can we take advantage of various incentives for them to increase the investment size here in Tanzania. But also we'll be keen to work together with TISEZA to see how best can we address some of the challenges which our members are facing, which are aimed at ensuring that they expand their businesses here in Tanzania.
According to available data, U.S. investment in Tanzania has reached approximately $5 billion, with major locations in mining, financial services, healthcare, and technology. Now to discuss more on the signed strategic memorandum of understanding between the American Chamber of Commerce and Tanzania Investment and Special Economic Zones Authority, TISEZA, I am joined live in the studio with the Executive Director, American Chamber of Commerce Chairman, Geoffrey Monde. Mr. Monde, welcome to TBC News.
Thank you so much, Teddy, for having me.
Oh, now, how much is this memorandum of understanding with TISEZA a game changer to the Tanzania and U.S. ties?
Well, thank you so much, Ted. Again, that's a brilliant question. Looking at the trajectory and experience with the existing investors, they've raised concern in couple of issues. With again, the Director General for TISEZA mentioned that there was concern on tax arrangements and two on land ownership. And now the MOU established now a proper framework, structured engagement for government and our members and American companies now to discuss and address these matters. Once these matters are settled or are settled in a more structured manner, it will send a proper positive signals to our members and more of the US companies operating here and those who are expecting to come over to Tanzania. So automatically, not automatically, I mean gradually now it will enhance the perspective and thinking about Tanzania. And we are optimistic that as the chairman and DG agreed that at least by 2030 we need to be able to double the size of the US investment in Tanzania to $10 billion. So, but that only will be done with a proper when you have a proper and structured arrangement where our members and American companies are able to engage with the government through TISEZA to discuss binding constraints, but also to be able to address these concerns. I think that's key. And number two, it's again now the MOU will provide a proper framework for us to be able to showcase Tanzanian untapped economic potentials to the US companies. We understand that every time and then we've been talking about how rich Tanzania is in terms of natural resources, strategic geographical positioning, surrounded by somewhat 9 countries and 6 are landlocked, 3 are on the other side of the ocean. Now, these are just numbers, but the world is not sure is not aware actually of the numerical economic value that this country holds, but also with the surrounding countries. So I must mention there's a lot of investment that the US and US private sector is putting in DRC and the surrounding countries, but those opportunities to be tapped needs to be either exited or enter to this market through Tanzania. So there are a lot of opportunities that are in between, and it's this framework that now will unearth and showcase to the world that Tanzania is an entry point for the US,
okay, for US companies. Now speaking about untapping the resources of certain economic areas, which sectors are likely to attract the highest level of new US foreign direct investment under this framework?
Well, you must know again, we will not deviate from Tanzania Dira 2050 and also the U.S. Current priorities. There's a lot of artificial intelligence happening up in the U.S. that now opens up untapped opportunities in the critical minerals and rare earth minerals assets. So you have the nickel, you have graphites, you have tantalum and copper. These are the sector that a subsector of the mining industry that will get a lot of U.S. investments. Again, there's tourism. You have high-end luxurious lodges and tour operators that are coming in and are setting up serious investment in that sector. You're also expecting an expansion in the logistics sector. You must understand, again, logistically, as I mentioned earlier, Tanzania is positioned at entry point and exit point, relied by over 7 countries that are surrounding it. So these are the sector that are expected to drive more of the U.S. investment. And again, you have technology, ICT infrastructure. A lot of U.S. companies, they're already here. If I tell you there are major U.S. companies that are here, they've invested directly themselves or in joint venture with some local companies in the ICT infrastructures. It doesn't mean they're not here, but they're here. A lot of number of American companies are doing that. And the more other sectors. The most important thing that TISEZA Director General mentioned, this framework will unlock untapped capital from the U.S. So either through venture capital, private equity, or institutional financing. And through this framework, we're going to unlock that.
This agreement has been linked to Tanzania's ambition of building a $1 trillion US economy by 2050.
Yes.
How can the U.S. investment realistically contribute to achieving that goal?
Well, thank you. That's a brilliant question. Now, let me point out one interesting fact. So to drive meaningful and diversified economy, you need the manufacturing sector to be very competitive. So it should be able to export value-added industrial goods to the world. Yeah. Now, if you look at the numbers from the Bank of Tanzania, you have industrial goods from Tanzania, the leading buyers of Tanzanian manufactured goods, mostly like East African and SADC member states. Then outside the EAC and SADC, the leading buyer of Tanzania's manufactured industrial goods is the United States. So it's not any other country, it's the United States. So what does that mean now? If we again go into identifying real economic opportunities that are there, then maximize these opportunities, the chances are high that the U.S. provides strategic opportunities. One thing from that point, whatever I've told you that the U.S. is a leading buyer of industrial goods, there are only few companies that are actually exporting to the U.S. under that arrangement. So you have like 3 or 4 companies that are exporting to the United States and actually supersedes other buyers of industrial goods outside Africa. So if you have only 4 companies, but can also compete and export more to the U.S. than the rest of other importing countries outside of Africa.
And to pitch in over there, Tanzania and U.S. cherish very deep historical bilateral ties.
Thank you.
Are you satisfied with the U.S. investment in Tanzania?
Well, I would say we have not yet captured to full, at least let's say at the minimum, the potential that exists on the U.S. bilateral trade and investment relationship. So if you look at again the numbers, you have other EAC and African partner states are getting a lot of U.S. investments inflow into their country, and the reason for that is simple. They've just been able to identify real opportunities and close deals and showcase these opportunities that exist, and that's what now the American Chamber of Commerce and Tanzania Investment and Special Economic Zones we're going to do under this framework. We showcase the opportunities, identify real U.S. investors, and attract them to invest here. 3, support them now.
Definitely.
to get proper landing and investment here in Tanzania. So that's what we're going to do going forward.
Okay, now how can Tanzania take advantage of the U.S.-Tanzania commercial dialogues like this to invest and increase in its trade volume in the U.S.? So, because we've discussed it a very wide length of how these two nations can come together and create something more strategical. Yes.
So, excuse me. So with the commercial dialogue, again, it is a special framework that was signed between the government of Tanzania and the U.S. Department of Commerce. So it's a government-to-government arrangement, but the American Chamber of Commerce again has been involved partly in terms of in its implementation, especially sitting in the subcommittee that we established. Now, from sitting in these committees, I'll tell you one thing: through the U.S.-Tanzania commercial dialogue, we are being able to identify key action points that U.S. companies, Tanzanian government, and Tanzanian private sector can implement and tap into U.S. market. 1, 2, U.S. capital. 3, attracts more proper U.S. companies. Like I'll tell you, the bigger companies. Once you have these bigger companies operating in your country, it sends a global signal. So I'm not going to mention specific companies. Like, assume the bigger company that you know, once they set, let's say, an operational office here in Tanzania, and it goes in the public, everybody, even in non-US countries, will be like, oh, well, if this company is in Tanzania, why not us? I think there's more good news in Tanzania to tap into. So I think with the commercial dialogue now, there's more that we're going to do in terms of enhancing now commercial jointly with TISEZA and AmCham platform, enhancing the Tanzanians' visibility at the US stage, but also coming up now with real opportunities, because now the priority is into them real opportunities and deals. So that's what we're going to do jointly as institutions.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mondi. We've come to the end of our interview.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on to the next news. Through strategic government investment, Air Tanzania Company Limited, ATCL, has significantly expanded its operational capacity and passenger reach from 800.2 thousand in 2021-2022 to 1,000,017 in 2024-2025, and bringing in more than $157.6 million, equivalent to an increase of 87.8%. Here's a story by Henry Mabumo, read to you by Asados.
Government Chief Spokesperson Gerson Msigwa is here to highlight significant advancement in Tanzania's aviation sector under the 6th phase government, particularly showing progress in the 2nd phase of leadership.
Tumeanza kupata mafanikio makubwa na sasa idadi ya abiria imeongezeka sana.
We have started achieving significant success and the number of passengers has increased substantially. In the year 2025-2026 financial year, we expect to reach a record we have never achieved before, operating more than 180,000 flights, which we anticipate will bring in over 6 million passengers. Our ultimate goal is to reach 10 million passengers.
Regarding transport sector, he speaks on the standard gauge railway SGR, where he says as of December 2025, the railway network has reached 747 kilometers, equivalent to 61% of the target of 1,219 kilometers by 2025-2026. And here, he lauds the achievement made in that transport.
SGR, treni zetu zimeshasafirisha abiria zaidi ya milioni 4,665,000.
Have already transported more than 4,665,000 passengers. In addition, we have transported more than 52,305 tons of cargo. Furthermore, more than 207,468 people have gained employment opportunities through the SGR project.
Regarding the maritime transport sector, Msigwa says the government is undertaking a major expansion of the Dar es Salaam port to enhance its capacity and efficiency as a regional trade hub. Esther Deus, TBC News.
The Jakaya Kikwete Akademic Institute, JKCI, has signed a memorandum of understanding with ABC Group Tanzania aimed at strengthening public awareness and prevention of heart diseases across the country. The partnership seeks to encourage more Tanzanians to undergo early heart screening by offering special treatment discounts and expanding access to specialist cardiac services closer to communities. Here's a story by Henry Mabumo, read by Esther Dels.
Sudden heart attack is said to cause an ever-increasing number of deaths because it requires a patient to receive treatment with no more than 2 hours from the onset of the condition. The Director General of JKCI, Dr. Peter Kisenge, says the establishment of these centers has reduced the time it takes for our heart specialists to attend patients from 4 hours to 2 hours due to the large numbers of heart patients now being treated at the centers.
17 million people are dying each year because of the cardiovascular. So we emphasize people to do exercise at least 30 minutes, 3 times in a week. You will always prevent cardiovascular disease.
Dr. Kisenge also says that in encouraging citizens to check their health, JKCI has begun entering into partnership agreements with companies to enable their customers to receive more than a 20% discount on heart treatment services when they purchase products from those companies. This is aimed at encouraging people to come forward for health checkups in order to achieve government's goals. Speaking after signing the agreement to promote health screening with JKCI, the management of ABC Group Tanzania says the agreement reflects a shared commitment to promoting the prevention of heart diseases.
With this initiative, what we are trying to look at is we are giving an opportunity for customers to have better access for a better facility like JKCI. It is like Mr. Jackson said previously, it is a common disease in Tanzania these days to have heart issues for people. So we figured that if we can contribute in some way to the community in terms of discounts which JKCI is providing for our customers, it would be a great start for the customers to have.
This two people or to this organization, we are really, we want to grow by giving healthy homes to the country's people or Tanzanian citizens. So that's what ABC is concentrated on, and JKCI is really concentrated on giving quality hospital solutions to the Tanzanian citizens.
Statistics shows that the Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute now provides outpatient services to 1,400 patients per day, up to 400 patients before the opening of treatment centers in various regions. And now it serves more than 230,000 outpatients annually. Esther Deus, TBC News.
Tanzania's Minister for Constitution and Legal Affairs, Dr. Juma Homera, says that the government of Tanzania continues to take concrete measures to improve access to social services in key sectors like health, water and electricity through timely implementation of development projects and people-centered policies. Dr. Homera made the remarks while delivering his statement at the 61st session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland, emphasizing that Tanzania remains committed to strengthening social service delivery, promoting good governance and advancing inclusive development in order to safeguard the dignity and well-being of its people.
Mr. Vice President, the United Republic of Tanzania continues to pursue a people-centered and a development-oriented approach to human rights. In this regard, in July 2025, the government launched the Tanzania Development Vision Agenda, Vision 2050, which is founded on the principle of good governance, peace, security, stability with a strong governance framework, grounded constitutionalism, the rule of law and human rights. In advancing the right to health, the government launched the National Universal Health Insurance Scheme in January 2026, aimed at ensuring equitable, mandatory and affordable access to healthcare services for all people, particularly low-income households. This reform is complemented by the expansion of health infrastructure, with the number of health facilities increasing from 8,549 in 2020 to 12,846 in 2025. Access to clean and safe water under the Water Sector Development Program has reached 72% in rural areas and 89% in urban areas.
Meanwhile, Dr. Homero has underscored Tanzania's commitment to continue to cooperate with the international community in the promotion and protection of human rights through dialogue, partnership, and respect for fundamental human rights principles. Moving on to Mbeya. Mbeya University of Science and Technology, MUST, cautions education stakeholders, including students, against an over-reliance on AI tools, which can diminish critical thinking, analytical reasoning, and independent problem-solving skills. The caution was issued during an open debate on the use of AI and social media organized by MUST University in collaboration with the Wrocław University of Science and Technology from Poland. WUST insisting on the need for ethical, responsible, and international usage of the technological tools like AI. The initiatives seek to harness technology for development as a tool for gaining economic knowledge and bringing about change in society rather than for passive consumption of harmful purposes.
Recognize that the impact of use of social media in our day-to-day life. We also all recognize that the impact of artificial intelligence in day-to-day life. So if you have the better use of this technology, it can contribute significantly to development of not only as an individual, but also Tanzania in general and the whole community. So for us as higher learning institutions, we are responsible to act in both development by training our students, because we are responsible in that teaching technology. So the way we are developing this AI, so we are training our students. Therefore, when they develop this technology, we want them to develop responsible and considering the negative impact of it.
So in summary, it's important for people to think about privacy, important to use AI in a way that can benefit them, but at the same time, they do not lose any of the skills and competencies that they have as human beings. They should not outsource their critical thinking. And in general, do not be afraid of AI. Use AI, but use it responsibly.
Today we are having the public lecture, and after this one, we'll be having we call it craft beer round table discussion, where we want now to come out with brainstorming and have the exchange, which is ethically for recommendations on the way we can move away and then applying these emerging technologies responsibly, and then we help our community at large.
And now in sports news, Tanzanian Swimming Association Technical Director Amina Mfaume says Tanzanian swimmers have begun preparations to win medals at the African Championships to be held in Tanzania in April. Mfaume told TBC in Dar es Salaam that Tanzanian swimmers will begin competing to reduce their time in the National Swimming Championships to be held in March as a preparation for the International Swimming Championships.
We have expectation for swimmers, but we have more expectation from the coaches, because we believe the swimmers are there, they have time, they're working so hard. My message goes to the coaches that they need to make sure they go extra miles to make sure that our swimmers get where we want and their goals. They need to start sitting down with the swimmers and set goals to make sure that our swimmers get where they are planning to go.
Tanzania will host the Africa Swimming Championships to be held in April before participating in the World Championships, which will take place in China in December. And on the other sports news, Tanzania Tennis Coaches Association Chairman Salum Vita points out that Tanzania is set to win medals in the African Youth Tennis Championships to be held in the country in April. Coach Mvita says Tanzania's young players are training hard for the African Championships, and he believes they will do well in the coming Africa Tennis Championship tournament.
Everyone in time of playing is good. We are going to have this tournament. We want them to have to play well.
Tanzania will host the Africa Youth Tennis Championships to be held in Dar es Salaam in April, with 17 countries expected to participate in the competition. That is sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather update for the next 24 hours.
My name is Godfrey Kazinja. I present to you 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. For tonight, we expect future rain shower over a few areas over the southern coast, and the rest part of our country expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over a few areas. For tomorrow, average wind speed expected over the most part of our country, and distribution of rain for signal are over the most part of our country. TMO issue an advisory expecting heavy precipitation at times over northern Eastern Highland, Tanga, Unguja and Pemba Island, together with Mbeya, Iringa and Njombe. Please take note on that. For tomorrow, we expect future cloud conditions, thunder shower over some area and sun interval over the northern Eastern Highland, central part, southern Western Highland, together with Morogoro region. And the rest part of our country expect future cloud conditions, thunder shower over few area and sun interval. Let's have a look for the 4 days weather forecast for some part of our country, starting from the day after tomorrow. Dar es Salaam expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas. Likewise, Dodoma expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas. Mbeya expect future thunder shower over few areas and sun periods. Likewise, Mwanza expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas and sun period. Kilimanjaro expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas. And Morogoro expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas and sun periods. Arusha expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas and sun periods. Dear viewer, we thank you for watching us and have a good time.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Teddy Mparanyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.
Ni muda wa kukutana na wadau kutoka taasisi mbalimbali za umma na binafsi. Mkutano wa Washitiri 2026 utafanyika jijini Arusha kuanzia tarehe 23 hadi tarehe 27 Machi 2026. Ni wakati wako sasa kushirikiana na TBC kwa njia ya kudhamini mkutano huo, uweze kuwafikia walengwa wako na kukuza biashara yako. Mkutano huo utakuwa mbashara kupitia TBC1, TBC Taifa na mitandao ya kijamii ya TBC.